Okay, something absolutely crazy just might have happened for crypto. And I think every single person that's ever been involved or has been thinking about getting involved should be made aware of what just happened. So the moment in question is kind of as you see right in front of you. 60 yeas and 38 nays. And I understand this might not really tell you too much, and that's why I'm here to provide you a little bit of context. So if we take a look at what it says below that, HJRES 109, a resolution of disapproval of the rule submitted by the SEC. We all know the SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, that's basically been wrecking crypto holders for a very long time. Very long time. Very long time. And now, in more simpler terms, if you're wondering what this bill was all about and what just got passed, because that's what the yays and nays are for, right? This one has been approved. It was a bill to overturn the SEC's rule on Bitcoin and crypto custody. And again, custody basically meaning who is allowed to hold it for you. In the simplest sense, let's say I want to hold crypto, but I don't feel responsible enough to keep it in a safe manner. Coinbase or any other company could say, well, we can hold those coins for you. And apparently Biden threatened a veto. But we just got news that the bill has passed and is now to the president's desk. And the reason this is so interesting is because it would overturn the SEC's staff accounting bulletin, preventing highly regulated financial firms from custodying Bitcoin and other crypto. So these guys basically wanted that almost nobody could hold crypto. It was going to be nearly impossible. And that would overturn this SEC rule. The legislation passed with a vote of 60 to 38, demonstrating bipartisan support for the measure. And again, the idea was that I think everybody is just being kind of logical here in the sense of why not have these major financial institutions be some custodians, because they're already under strict heavy regulations anyway. Why make it even more difficult for them and leave some of these institutions to look elsewhere or be more irresponsible? We can argue for days, but Coinbase is probably a lot better at holding crypto than, first of all, I would say just a BlackRock or somebody else, because obviously in hindsight, BlackRock, etc., they all chose Coinbase, but also just than almost anybody out there. I mean, obviously there's a couple other custodians that are good, but you guys get the idea. It's like in the smallest of percentiles of how good they are. So why try to stop some of these guys, huh? Anyway, and luckily, some people, which are interesting, well, let me say it the opposite way around. Luckily, some of the guys here have also agreed that it's so stupid. Senator Cynthia Lummis, a vocal advocate for Bitcoin, urged her support for the overturning of the SEC shenanigans, emphasizing SAB 21, which is the SEC's rule, is a rule under a Administrative Procedure Act, disguised as an accounting guidance. It was published by the SEC staff without the approval of the majority of the commission. And again, she basically stated, hey, make sure you vote yes, because the safest place for digital assets is in a self-hosted wallet and not just some really random companies. Because again, the whole rule decides to, or at least is trying to make crypto more holdable by anybody. And it's trying to make the bar of entry for being allowed, and that's the craziest part, for being even allowed to hold crypto. Because in essence, that's what the SEC hid here. They hid a measure for, I'm going to say institutions, but I think about this further. I think about if they're already trying to hide this for some major institutions, they're going to come for everybody. And I've said this 1,000 times, but I fear most out of everything when it comes to legislation, that they're going to make it so difficult in a secret way for you to legally own, hold basically the crypto, that no, they're not stopping you from buying it. Well, there's no rule you can't buy it, but they're just going to go after every platform that sells it, which is why the ETFs are so huge, because now that's kind of impossible. And why BlackRock and all those guys are so huge, because it's almost impossible for you to now have no more way to get crypto. However, I think all these ways for anybody to get crypto might get diminished over time. I mean, if we look back at some of the statements from these institutions, they're trying to make it so that people that are financially capable can buy it. when in my head, anybody should be able to buy whatever they want when it comes to these things. But again, I personally think the angle that they're hooking in for is along the lines of you being able to hold it, how, where, and what. And then again, I'm also afraid that if something happens, they're going to be able to take your crypto because they want you to, if you're allowed to hold it at all, hold it through just a couple wallets they provide. And again, I'm not really for that. But again, if Biden vetoes, so he could basically say, hey, let's this rule not go through, so we want to keep the SEC rule in there and this overruling basically not go through. That will be a really big setback. And it's one thing we're all watching out for. And that's another fun thing. People think, oh, but I'm not in America. I don't care about this. I'm not in America. but you should care because it's such a massive market. And I always think about it this way. There will never be total unison when it comes to banning crypto. There will always be countries out there who are still going to be progressive and accept this whole crypto stuff. But if the US takes a big poo-poo on the head, I really wonder what that's going to look like for all the markets. And not even in a negative sense. I just mean the people might finally get fed up with some of the shenanigans they've been put up with. And again, I'm also thinking if the SEC tries to pull a fast one there, all these people that voted yay just now, they're also not stupid. Eventually, some of the darker secrets are going to come to light. Again, we've done a lot of digging on the SEC and many things really don't make sense. I'm still afraid, though, that this will get vetoed by the president again, despite the White House issuing a policy statement that if HJR 109, which is again what we're talking about here, was presented to the president, he would veto it. An astonishing 21 Democrats still broke ranks to join with the Republicans and basically pass it. And again, that's because they don't really know if this is the right policy for digital assets, and a message to the crypto industry to not leave the US and give Congress a chance to get policy right on it. I will come back and say, though, that even though it's important, I'd say the most important... What is that? Scared the crap out of me. It's just MetaMask. Continuing on, the most important thing that we're watching out for when it comes to making rules, when it comes to crypto progressing, is not all that. No. It's this right here, ladies and gentlemen. Coinbase says the market is underestimating timing and odds of a spot Ethereum ETF approval. That little pop-up made me realize pop-ups are not that bad. If you guys still are looking for a crypto exchange to trade on, the one I personally use is Bybit. Now, this might not be available in every single country. I know. And for some of you guys that are looking for a different crypto exchange, one you might like is Deepcoin. Because I think if you use a VPN, I've got a link to NordVPN down below. This should also be available everywhere. And you should be using a VPN for everything anyway. Anyway, I've got links down below. Make sure you check them out. This is by far my favorite crypto exchange right now. But again, OKX and Deepcoin links are also down below. So check those out if Bybit is not available. To continue on with my story, the consensus for the most part seems to be that most people expect the Ethereum ETF to be denied in, I think, exactly a week from now. But if it does get approved, first of all, things are going to get pretty crazy from here. And again, we all know it's a matter of when, not if, Ethereum ETFs are going to eventually come. But once more, if you're wondering, should you be waiting for them to happen? Our senior Bloomberg ETF analyst, Eric Balchunas, described the odds of an approval as slim to none amid the SEC's apparent silence with issuers. With the Bitcoin ETFs, we saw a lot of back and forwards, a lot of these, meet again. That was mostly to set the terms straight and get things really fully ruled out. The fact that right now we're not seeing 1,000 SEC meetings with BlackRock and all those guys probably means it's not going to happen. Again, we all have our minds set on it. But I think for the most part, that's actually because the SEC is going after consensus and all these other guys. So it would be strange for them to now approve it. But I find it pretty crazy that Polymarket is pricing in odds of a May approval at 16%. And we're looking at Ethereum's performance, again, over the last longer period of time. It's not been too amazing if we compare it to Bitcoin. It's not been bad. Especially comparing to a lot of other altcoins, but it's not been good comparing to Bitcoin. And a lot of my friends are expecting that we're going to see slightly lower prices for Ethereum, a slight pitfall after the ETFs get denied. But from there on forward, let's say a little bit afterwards, we find ourselves a good bottom on Ethereum versus Bitcoin and just start rolling as Bitcoin kind of keeps pumping up and Ethereum gets a little break. But then as we find a good bottom, we're basically going to skyrocket hard from there, as at that point there's almost nothing really holding it back anymore, as the next time we're almost guaranteed to get the ETFs approved and the timing of everything makes sense. But yeah, as you guys know, I'm extremely bullish on crypto. I know the regulations kind of suck and they're weird and kind of goofy and iffy, but ultimately I think this will all turn out to be fine. Crazy stuff is happening in crypto every single day, and it really doesn't surprise me. me anymore. What does, I guess, surprise me every now and then is just how bullish all the fundamentals are. But then I look at the price and think, it's actually not that crazy. Even though Bitcoin just crossed 67,000 again, which was nice to see. Still hoping for higher highs, and I think it's not too long from now, but hey. That's about it for this video. Hopefully see you guys again in another one. Make sure if you didn't do it yet that you press the like button. And if you're watching this far in, just let me know down below that you're excited. Yeah, because I wonder how many people watched the video all the way to the last second of the end. That's about it.